All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's roll. A lot of pre-side tangents. We're hulking out. Hulk out.
Should have recorded all this.
Yeah, it was rolling. Just the tail end. Yeah. Premium access. We got off-season cycle. We're starting June 23rd. If you're watching this, we're in the middle of a deload cycle. We just did deload week after the freedom cycle, which was a couple months. We tried something different this year, which was cool. We were like, hey, go throw down, go compete in person. The open's great, but it's only a few weeks now. It's online. And then 99.9% that don't make semifinals, or I guess technically 99%, since 1% went online. It gives you a chance to do something in person. And then the Community Cup was a cool way to finish it off with some different style workouts. It was 3 of them, but it was basically like, hey guys, go compete. That way you're not training all year just for 3 online workouts. Makes it much better. If you haven't competed yet, that's okay. Go compete this summer. You can do it in the Hulk out cycle.
Plenty of time.
I heard a lot of good things about the Community Cup.
Really?
Both gyms I was up in Chicago, a lot of the members did it.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's cool.
That's good
stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. All I really remember is 2 things. One, shout out Gunks. He PR'd his front squat and hang clean.
Nice.
Let's go.
Probably a lot of PRs there, so that's good. And shout out Wayne. He PR'd as well.
I saw him out there in the gym again yesterday. What did he do?
I don't know. I meant to ask him. I haven't seen him. Wayne Boney, or CrossFit Mayhem, long-standing life member and Masters competitor. I think he PR'd his hang clean, but it looked like he tore up his elbow.
But once again, I saw him working out yesterday, and I thought he was trying to handstand push-up. So I don't know.
Because he's
awesome.
a quick turnaround.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Did we program the Community
EPC
Cup?
157.
Did we have any involvement in that?
No.
I heard a lot of good things about the programming for Community Cup and LCQ. Like,
We had nothing
were-
to do with Community Cup.
Yeah.
We had a little bit to do with the LCQ.
I heard people say like they thought the Community Cup was cool. Then the LCQ workouts came out and they were like, oh, I'd rather do those. Those
Yeah.
look sick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, LCQ workouts were good.
yeah.
Yeah. They were. I'm trying to remember what the Community Cup was. Hang clean, front squat, Gunkler, you can hop in and pull it back up.
And the handstand push-up, dumbbell snatch, box jump over, which was all box jump overs. The entire workout was box jump overs the whole time. That's all you did. The whole time.
Oh, you did it,
That's all
right?
you did. Yeah.
You did it right there.
My back got so freaking tight. It was good. But yeah, it was just heart rate and box jump overs. The dumbbell snatch was annoying, but more just got your back. And then the handstand push-ups for me
Oh, that's
were
right.
the break, you know? And so, yeah, that one sucked. I didn't do the second one for some reason. We've been doing a lot of bar stuff, bar hanging stuff. I've been trying to follow framework of compete, what we're doing right now. I did that rope climb. We did a bunch of shoulder overhead yesterday. So instead of the shoulder overhead, we did instead of the handstand push-up for yesterday afternoon workout, we did a handstand walk, rope climb, bar muscle up, rope climb. And it was dirty.
Yeah. Some of those workouts have been gross.
Yeah.
Starting to June 16th.
Yeah.
Games track.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
A lot of fitness happening.
A lot of fitness happening.
That one deadlift lunge one we programmed ruined people.
Oh, that one did.
The sandbag carry is going to mess them up. The one that's coming.
People like text me like, bro, I'm messed up and it's Wednesday after the 90 deadlifts, 315, the dudes, and a lot of feet lunging.
Yeah, it was a lot of feet.
Jack texted me.
Good. Caked up.
Yeah, getting crushed. So Hulk out. So we are going to the off season. So there's multiple ways to go about it. Obviously, it's a long, quote unquote, off season, depending on when you start competing. Most of it's going to be the open. So we'll keep that for now, the structure of how we're going to go forward, peaking you guys and building to a competitive season. And I'm sure next year we'll try to layer in some other options like we did this year of, hey, let's throw down in person, give you guys ways to do something besides just 3 online workouts.
And change everything when it all changes again.
Yeah, so February, spring, March, April, somewhere in there, I think we're going to be competing for something, hopefully.
No telling. Good rule of thumb, just follow the track. And then when they announce dates, about 6 weeks out, you need to start getting into shape.
We'll make adjustments.
We'll make adjustments on the fly.
We'll get you fit fast.
We'll do the best we can.
And don't know for sure yet, but we may try to do something in person somewhere be really vague.
Somewhere, something with some people.
Come hang out, throw down, work out with us in person at a bigger
cool.
comp. We'll see.
Or a couple times.
Actually, there's a couple, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple Fresh Coast. You got
Desert
Fresh Coast
City
coming
Classic qualifier starts like this week or next week. Then the Legends is July 1st. The Masters, like Legends, is that what it's called?
They're online qualifier?
Yeah, their online qualifier starts July 1st, and it's like 20 days or something.
God, it's way far out. Yeah, because Legends will be December. Right. Not to be confused with the Masters games.
I was just looking at like all the bigger qualifiers
Masters
coming up.
Masters games different than MFC?
Yes.
There's 3 Masters competitions? Like games competitions?
No. Well, a quick side tangent. The Masters and Teens Games is the end of August in Columbus. It's the Masters Teens Games ran by Legends.
Okay.
Right. We are programming the teams of 3 for that.
Got it.
The MFC is in, I think October, beginning October. That's Masters Fitness Championship.
Okay.
A lot of Masters go to that didn't compete at the games. Or maybe want to throw it on again.
Okay.
There's also the teams of 2 there.
Okay.
That we're programming the entire thing.
Got it.
2 really big Masters things.
And then?
And then Legends Championship, which is its own thing, they carried on still, is in December. It's always in December.
That's like its own thing, but I think they're running the games this year.
They ran the games last year and this year.
So they're running 2 events.
CrossFit Games age group is still that ran by Legends.
And the Pit Teen Throwdown is no more. That's part of the Legends now.
Part of, or part of
pre-Legends.
All combined, as it should be.
Because they're not Legends yet.
Yeah, what's the, I don't know what that is.
Games Legends and then Legends.
Young Guns.
That's what it should be. Or young, aggressive use.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now
so if you're an age group athlete, those are the things you're probably throwing down at Masters.
Now I completely, totally don't understand.
I'll write it down. You really
There's
have
a lot
to
of
read
stuff coming up though.
Masters totally get it though. I know you guys do because that's their. They honestly throw down super hard in the fall on like a lot of competitors. So, but they love throwing down hard. So, those are some chances to compete this off season, and then BCS Classic.
BCS Classic. 806 Classic. Those are the 2 that I'll be doing. Fresh Coast, BCS, 806.
Yep. And then in the spring, that's ones I was kind of alluding to. We don't know exactly, but there may be a couple of things will be as well, like the ones we've mentioned that you come compete in person too. And if you're going to go to those, we have some resources online. Like, hey, I'm in the middle of this 10-week off-season cycle. What am I supposed to do? Like, we can give you a couple weeks to gear up, probably more than that, 3 or 4, so that you could hit some competition like workouts on the weekends. And then after that, you could fall into a cycle where you're going off season mode. So you don't necessarily just show up totally cold to competition to compete at. That makes sense.
If you did a million competitions this year, don't be afraid to take a couple of weeks off and then jump in on the off season cycle for sure.
Yeah. More. Yeah. That's a good point too. If you're the other end and you're like, did a bunch of IPQEs or did a different division of those, if you did more than a few, then probably good to chill some June, July, which this would fit right into not super tuned up mode. I was thinking about this before we get into it. It's like me, 2013, 14, I was running my face in the ground, trying to do the workouts you did.
Same.
And you were running the ground. But like off season wasn't a thing.
No.
It was just Metcon or face off. I don't know if you're the same.
Yeah.
Like at what point I was thinking, even me, so long, I didn't really ever take off season. A little bit of strength, but still a ton of Metcons. At any point, because eventually you kind of would do more off-road or road bike stuff.
I did that just when I tore my meniscus. That was the only reason I started doing that.
Yeah.
No.
From like 2011, let's say, to 17, 18, did it ever look different?
Because I was always training for something. You know, I was always either training for, as soon as the games was over, I knew the Invitational was coming up. They had that CrossFit liftoff thing that they did in person for a while, and then it went online. So I did that.
That was like the max lifts, and then you do a workout with lifting.
Yeah. Honestly, man, no. We just Metcon like morning, did some strength work after, and then Metcon and did some strength work in the evening. That's just how it was.
Sometimes there's a midday quick Metcon too.
Sometimes, or just strength, depending on if Thomas was coming in. Maybe the midday was just strength.
Yep.
You know, I think it changed for me when I was like, okay, I think realistically the goal is to make a regional. And so then I was like, in the next 3 years, I want to try to do that. So it was like, I knew that the open was the main competition for me to like peak for. So then it was like structuring everything to like peak for the open at that time. Cause there wasn't like, I would just like jump into comps unconditioned to get like experience. And like I would do Wadapalooza in January and like not necessarily prep for it, but use it as a way to get like competition experience. And then I would use like from when the open ended, let's say like I didn't make it, I would use from when the open ended, I would set like a 3-month block to work on a lot of the things that I sucked at. Sometimes for me, actually, a lot of that was actually more conditioning because I had like the prerequisite strength. So it was like a lot of like running long, like lower intensity workouts actually to build volume and like burpee capacity and stuff. So my off season looked a lot different than other people who were like, I need to get strong. And that's kind of, I feel like that's actually kind of how I learned that maybe that is necessary because you can use a 3-month block to like hammer home major holes. And like you're using that time to isolate those in a sense. And then you kind of work your way back into like.
Yeah, for me, man, it was weird. I never did blocks. I never did anything. And I was snatching 300 plus. I think I clean and jerked 390 at one point. And those are all still like solid numbers now.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago. And I was just the one major hole obviously was running and swimming, but that's just because I didn't do it. I would, if I could go back, I would have, the running is, I think swimming came pretty quick once we started doing it. Running was still just something that I don't enjoy. So I didn't put time into it. When I started putting time into it, it was almost too late in my career where it was just like, who cares now? And also my knee was trashed by that point, but I mean, it was, I guess I look at it as it was like a 6-year just all in, right? So.
Yeah, my genetics are just trash.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too. I should have picked better parents. Sorry if you're not making the games. You got to pick good parents, step one.
Yeah.
But even in those off season, we still met kind of our face off, but we'd follow a pretty dedicated strength cycle.
Yeah, we'd bounce around between Catalyst for a while, and then we followed Bergener Strength for a while, and we would just kind of go through there and cherry pick a little bit off of that.
When you did snatch 300, I think we did a long Catalyst, like 12, 16.
Maybe. I think on the minute stuff,
we still would do that.
Did a ton of on the minute stuff, ton of volume work on that type of stuff, and it just kind of translated well.
Yeah. Yep. So I think the things to take away is like, one, train your priority weakness first every day. A lot of us in the sport in the past and now, like strength is a limiter. So if you don't have certain benchmark lifts, like we talk about a lot, snatch, clean and jerk, deadlift, front squat, back squat, press, you got to get those to the competitive level, whether you want to be better in the open, your local comps, or make a semifinal. There's just benchmarks you got to get to. So in this one, most days we will lift first each day. Like Dom says, if conditioning is your weakness, you can do the workout first, lift after on some of those days, and then even add in some of those extra rope progressions we have for you guys in there.
Or dip into what's Rich doing, because there's always going to be some type of actual fitness in there too.
A lot of fitness there every day. The 3 or 4 things we'll touch on. First, the strength cycle, Sage dialed up one. This is pretty different than some of our traditional stuff, just to keep it varied. 1, 2, touch some lifts we don't always hone in so much to keep it fun. 1, and then that'll translate to the traditional. So we'll have 10 weeks of it. Beginning of the week, we're going to work on some deadlifting. There'll actually be a lot of sumo deadlifts in this, some on the minute work that we'll build in percentages. And then we'll play with the reps and sets there like we usually do. A lot of the Ole work, we'll have traditional clean days and snatch days, depending on where it is in the week, but you'll do at least 1 snatch and clean day, if not 2 each week. We'll work some positional, will be the main thing, some from the blocks, some from the hang, and then we'll build with those percentages, but it won't get too insane. And then something else different we're doing is going to be we like doing either box squatting or playing with a low bar back squat, just to get you guys in some different positions and with some of those rep schemes to see where you're at in that strength, rather than always just doing the straight traditional back and front squat. Some good single leg work. We'll have some split squats, some lunges as well, and other things to target quads, along with some posterior chain finishers. What you will see on a lot of days as well is what we call this accessory work. A lot of these are just good, fun style pump finishers, might target the triceps, front lateral delts, biceps, so arms, shoulders, and then obviously we're going to have plenty of bench press thrown in there as well. With the bench press, we'll play with, I was telling Dom, some incline dumbbell bench press. Some weeks we'll have wide grip bench press. So we'll kind of flip week to week, pending that. but you'll see some pattern in it, but hopefully it'll stay fresh enough that you don't necessarily remember what's coming. So a lot of that foundational strength work, and later on we'll work more towards traditional lifts and 1RMs and barbell cycling. But for now, will be a lot of pump style, hypertrophic work. So hopefully we'll put on some muscle mass. So be thinking this, hey, if you need to get stronger, you need to be eating in a surplus. For sure, carbs and proteins each day, probably fats too, just caloric surplus. If you want to put on muscle, you have to eat more. You have to be taking in more than you're expending. So keep that in mind this 10 weeks. If you want to build together a plan of how much muscle mass you want to put on and weight you were willing to gain, this is the time to do that.
Yeah. Don't be lazy with your hypertrophy work. Actually push your weights. I think a lot of people, when they see like some higher rep, like 8 to 12 ranges on stuff, they just like
take it easy,
kind of just go through the motions. You need to like push that loading if you want to see an increase in 10 weeks. It makes a huge difference. I've seen a lot of the younger guys I've had do hypertrophy to start an off season make massive gains when they actually push themselves. And if you push yourself hard enough, it almost sometimes can feel like a Metcon.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the thing too. That's for sure. All these going to be mostly RPE 8. So like within 3-ish reps of failure. Doesn't mean if it's 15 reps, you have to you couldn't have got any more. If you go in 15, let's say here's one plate front raises into 10 to 15 diamond push-ups. That means on the plate front raises, you probably couldn't have done more than 18 reps. Right. Diamond push-ups, you could have done in that range, but not many more of that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just not going to get the benefit. And they're fun, but you do need to bring some intensity to these to get the benefit. Otherwise, it's not really adding anything to your training. So that'll be the strength, rolling with that week to week. It will get heavier each week. The RPs will go up, so we'll still progress that. And towards the end, we are going to max out some of those lifts I mentioned with the non-traditional deadlifts, some of the box back squat. We'll touch the ollies a little bit heavier at the end, and then we'll retest that incline dumbbell bench press. That'll be more for reps than actual loads. So that should be cool to see where we end up on that. Thursdays, we're doing something different too. Henshaw wrote us a 40-minute ruck program. So the idea is going to be work some of that lower intensity zone 2 work, but we're going to throw it into a ruck. Last year, we can show that to you guys, but we did it was like 15-minute and 5-mile progression. We want to do something different, but make it that longer domain, like 40 minutes or more. So he's been doing a lot of ruck work with other athletes, has some success. So we said, hey, let's try that out. Throw it in on Thursday, something different. We'll load down that ruck, give a total explanation, like here's how you decide how much weight you're doing. Here, you can do it out and back distance, keep it simple, and then we'll try to progress how fast you're moving in that time domain. So over the 10 weeks, you'll get more work accomplished in that same time with that ruck work. Won't be too intense, like I said, zone 2, but it'll be longer on those Thursdays with that. Gymnastic-wise, Pamela dialed up some core and grip strength endurance. Those will be like we usually have. Beginning of the week, you'll hit 1. That might be that core work with GHDs, V-ups, other types of holds. They'll be quicker, but we'll hit that in there. And then later in the week, we'll work some grip, whether it be carries, holding dumbbells, hanging from a bar, that type of thing. We'll try to translate into workouts themselves. Dom, anything on strength or that I didn't touch on you saw?
No, I think that was everything. Metcon rotation.
So Mondays and Fridays will kind of be set, and then the rest of the week will vary, but Monday will just be conditioning work. It'll be CrossFit movements, but the intensity will be controlled. So it might be 5 to 7 minutes of a couplet or triplet. We're not going as fast as possible because we're going to repeat probably multiple sets. So you'll get 15 to 20 minutes of work in with built-in rest. It might be like a machine with a weightlifting movement and gymnastic, but you can stay moving the whole time, make it very repeatable. And then Friday will be our classic functional pumps, a lot of bench press, a lot of pushing, maybe some gymnastic handstand push-ups or ring dips paired with a pull, like a rope climb, strict pull-up, ski, things like that, just to keep it really honestly enjoyable, something different on Friday rather than going as hard as possible. And then the rest of the week, we will have some CrossFit, 1-to-1 intervals, depending on the day, ladders, chippers, strongman work, and some other monostructural aerobic work like machine pacing, fast, easy, longer stuff that we should be doing this time of the year.
Yeah. Strongman implements in there, I saw too.
Yep. So we'll do some sandbag stuff, maybe throw in some work from Everyday Hero or Hunt, just some good sandbag clean, sandbag carry, burpee box get over, sled, and we'll give subs for all those like we typically do. Make sure you guys get it in. Something else cool we've been doing, we were just talking. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, we all get together. Brandon, Foster's there some, Angelo's there. program the games track, move in the off season, and probably even now we'll get together. We ping Metcons off each other all the time, but we've been getting more
in the room.
Yeah, throw it on the whiteboard, try to structure each week accordingly. So you see some of that. We'll post it on social media too of us.
I think Scott said he's going to start videoing some of those sessions.
Nice.
A little bit.
Oh, sweet.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It's fun just to get in there and do what we do.
Definitely. Yeah. Keeps it, honestly, just makes a better product, and then just keeps it good. People can see inside how we do it, what we think through, how we get out to the public.
Nothing like a good programming schizophrenic whiteboard.
Yeah, we'll be posting pictures. Keep
just
throwing them out.
Red lines everywhere. What if we did this?
I think the other thing I thought about, how you guys think about, so there's probably 3 categories of athletes in off season, maybe 4. You got someone who's strength limited, someone who's
has a major hole in
conditioning limited, aerobic,
and
skill
gymnastics
limited. So we kind of touched on a little bit of aerobic. Kind of the strength is set out for them. You got to hit that first every day. I guess, what would you do different or structured if you were skill was your big limiter?
I personally prefer to add that at the end of a workout instead of it affecting the intensity of said workout. You know, we have talked about adding like freestanding handstand push-ups into a workout. I prefer to add them at the end so you don't end up with a complete mess of a workout, you know, or like so if you were to take today what we talked about earlier, for example, on compete yesterday afternoon, it was 12 deficit handstand push-ups, 3 or 4 or 3 rope climbs, bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups, and then rope climb. And so in my head, I would like to see a couple rounds with the deficit, and then maybe the final round, if we're doing a 3 or 4 round thing, with freestanding, to where you're trying those fatigue, but you already got some intensity in, or you want to try those fresh. Maybe you do 4 rounds and the first round and the last round are freestanding or something like that. But I like to have some intensity still in there, that you're not losing so much of the intensity because your skill is so bad.
Right. Yeah, I think for like an off season, if I'm someone, let's say someone's following this and you don't even have a ring muscle up, there's probably like 1 session a week where I'm doing like skill development in like different positions to start a session, because it's actually almost going to warm me up. And then I'd probably do all my like pressing strength if that's a pressing strength day, because then it kind of warms up my shoulders, whether I'm doing like banded low ring muscle up turnovers, bottom dip holds, top dip holds. That's for someone who like doesn't have a skill at all. I usually tend to want to do that first, so you're not fatigued. If you're someone who has a skill and you've started to develop volume, but when they get in a workout paired with something that affects it, then you need to start doing exactly what Rich said, like training it under low fatigue, like maybe mixing it with a ski or trying it at the end of a session, so you actually can try them fatigued. Like, I think it goes both ways, working on skills under fatigue. And then if you don't have a skill at all, you actually got to like practice it, not train it.
Right. Yeah. You can't add it into a Metcon. Right. I'll take, even J-Web, for example, handstand walking. He's got the skill, but he doesn't have the capacity, and obviously that's something that I could still do and be fine. And so what I've done, because we're training for Fresh Coast, I don't foresee handstand walking being in Fresh Coast, but I know that he's training for other things, and handstand walking will probably show up. And so what I've done a couple of times is in a 25-foot section, put a plate at like 12 and a half. And I'm like, hey, you have to break. Come down, kick back up, and get the full distance instead of him always cutting the distance. Yeah. If I'm doing 50, he's like, I'm going to do 40. And I'm like, no, let's do 50, but let's mandatory breaks. So you have to actually, it breaks it up into a section or pieces that he can actually do. So set a limit on, if it's 30 reps, 30 muscle ups for time, right? And if I get a big chunk, I'm always fatigued. So let's, work on those small pieces that you're always hopping up there. You have a set rest, and you're so break it up into manageable sets, or sets that are kind of going to stretch your limits. You can do different things.
Yeah. I found for myself, I used to have a big strict handstand push-up limiter, and I used to just like throughout the week.
We did handstand push-ups every single day. So Dre would get better at them one year, every single day.
And I think that's actually something you can do, is like you do a warm-up, and I would throw like 10 at the end of my warm up, just like a set of 10. And even at like, I mean, I was at the point where I think my max set was like 5. So I would do like 5 sets of 2. And I would do that like literally 5 or 6 times a week just to start a session. Then I just move on into my session, just to like build position, build confidence kicking up, try different hand positions or whatever. And then at the end of every week, I'd be accumulating 60 handstand push-ups. Then the next week, I would, instead of doing 10, I would try to do 12.
Yeah, just to add it.
13,
that's
14, just like add a rep. You do that over the course of a month. And then I would like, every once in a while, I'd test like 50 strict handstand push-ups on a day. And I think that's an easy way to work on a skill.
Yeah, and it doesn't really blow you up. It doesn't blow you up.
If you're doing 13 or 14 a day.
Dude, we used to, when we first started CrossFit, for our warm-ups, we would do like, I think we'd just gotten a rower. So we're like, let's row. Let's do a 250 row. We'd do like 5 handstand push-ups strict, 5 muscle-ups. We started handstand walking. We'd add double unders. We'd add like, they were like 45-minute long skill session warm-ups, but it was like a Metcon too. Yeah. But it was just like throw everything in there. It was when we first started. And so we were like, just do this, do that, add this, add that. Overhead squats. Darren was bad at overhead squats. Let's overhead squat. Throwing 10 GHDs, you know.
Let's play with all the toys.
It was crazy.
That's good.
Super long chippers.
EMOMs are a great way to develop skill for sure. Like little tiny EMOMs. That would be another great way to do it. Just like 10 minutes, minute 1, 12 cal ski, minute 2, 3 to 4 strict handstand push-ups. Do that for 10 minutes and then move on to the rest of it.
And then plenty of rest and then fatigue you a little bit.
2013 Open, same thing. That's what I did. Remember I love that workout. 13.5 thruster chest to bar unlocks every 4 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Well, one, I didn't have butterflies, so I needed to learn the skill. I just would kill myself. I didn't have it, but I kip. So I got blocked, like didn't make it, barely missed it. But then I just EMOM chest to bar. So I had butterfly. And then add reps. Start 5 on the minute, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once you unlock it, it clicks and then you just build. But either way, like you said, if you don't have ring muscle up, if you can't get one, you probably need to do it before to develop the strength. You get the ring muscle up and or position and or stability in the positions. If you have them, you want to get more, then after the workout may work better. Either way, pull it out of the workout or really decreased in reps so you don't just stand and stare at whatever. Otherwise, that's not getting the point of the workout.
Yeah, you can get creative with it. There's different ways to do it.
And I'm sure we'll have some workouts in there.
Yeah, there will be. There's
some big ring muscle up workouts in there.
A lot of ring. There's some ring muscle ups coming, and then we actually are launching some one-off programs. Starting with the skills. Brandon's helping us out, so we'll have in the next few weeks. Get your first ring muscle up, get your first handstand walk, and I think get your first strict handstand push up.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Boom.
Grab that.
If you need to get more, we'll try to
do those 3 things. You can do Mayhem Athlete.
Yeah, you can. You can do a lot of Mayhem Athlete with those 3 things. It's for sure what's Rich doing.
Yeah, what's Rich doing for sure.
So we'll try to get those in the Mayhem Athlete app. We'll have some access. Just check out there. We'll send more info for how to get these. Get your first, and then we'll add some more of actually get more of. So some past cycles we've done of like increasing total strict handstand push-ups, like Dom's saying, whatever the skill, we're going to build out a library so you guys can go there and add that into your training. We'll help you fit it in which days of the week to make sure you're building that skill and it doesn't overlap in training. So
sweet.
Hulk out. We got 10 weeks. Join us Monday, June 23rd. Let's get a little bit fitter this off season, have some fun with stuff, and we'll build into the next year.